We all opened our eyes to see that instead of falling, we were floating deep down in the hole. As we seemed to be going downward, it started to grow bright. Tolo pointed out that there was a light orb below us. We floated down to hover just above the orb, and Januka commanded, "Take us to the Ancient One." The orb that was below us zoomed off. Januka yelled out, "Don't lose it." We sort of swam like we were in water, following close behind the orb. It was as if there was no gravity, going deeper and deeper into the abyss of darkness. Up ahead we saw a red light flickering. We followed the orb till the red light grew larger. Looking ahead, we saw that the red light was really a cave, glowing red because all around on the floor was nothing but a mountain of gold, silver, lots of rubies and precious jewels. Without a chance to continue on, we started to fall quickly downward to the golden floor below. I landed on something very hard and very warm. I must have been out for quite some time, because when I opened my eyes slowly, not moving, I started to observe things around me. I noticed that the others were starting to wake and seemed to be all right. What was I on that seemed so warm? I was just about to rise up when a forked tongue met my face. A stream of hot black smoke rushed by my face, making droplets of sweat appear on my face. I tried again to rise up when I heard a voice unlike any of the others I had heard before. It was a kind, smooth voice with the ending of a hiss. The voice said kindly, booming very loud, "Why, daughters of Colac, you have come to us." I sat up with my hand touching a warm, scaly palm of a gargantuan dragon. The thought of screaming came in mind when it occurred to me that not everything was as it seemed to be in the stories. We had been told by books that dragons were mean, ate livestock, and accepted virgins for sacrifice, so I took a deep breath and scuttered out that we meant it no harm. We were only looking for the Ancient One. The dragon looked at me for a moment and said, "Look at me, daughter of Colac. Do you not remember me?" I said with a swallow, "I am sorry. There are many things about this land I still don't remember." I took a hard look at the dragon. She was as black as the night without a moon. Her scales glowed a purple gleam in the shadowed darkness. As I continued to look at her beauty, a voice from behind said, "It is better she doesn't remember you." I turned my head, trying to see the owner of the voice, a white unicorn with a C, through horn containing a rainbow of sparkles glimmering within the horn. He had a mane and tail with many colors of blues, purples, and whites. The mane and tail was almost long enough to touch the ground. The dragon nodded in agreement, as another voice came from behind the dragon. It was one that sounded a lot like Januka, but Januka was just starting to get up from the fall. When he heard the voice, an anger grew in him, and then sadness overflowed from his heart. So much that he said with a howl, "It cannot be, it mustn't be." The old voice said, "I am afraid it is and shall be, unless something is done." The old voice came from the shadows. A grey weevil with a mustache and a long white beard appeared beside the dragon. Januka went to him and bowed his head while saying in a whisper, "Forgive me." The grey weevil just put his neck around Januka's and said, "There's nothing to forgive you for, my child." Lily looked at Killen and Tolo. They were both bowing, for they were all in the presence of the Ancient One. The dragon lifted me slowly, and then placed her hand down near my friend's, where I slowly stepped off her hand and onto the shifting gold floor, made up of thousands of coins. Tolo came forward with his head still bowed, and said in the most courteous manner, "Glorious Ancient One, we have come here to ask permission, and to seek advice on how to destroy the darkness of Lady Lanu." "The wise," Weevil said, "creature of Colac's domain, before you speak on these matters, let us go to a more enclosed part of the cave. For within these walls the safety of it is slowly failing." We looked at one another as we were shown the way behind the black dragon into a small hole where once we entered. The large dragon shifted her body around so that she stuck half herself in, and left her other half end to plug the door. "Now we may talk," the unicorn said, shaking his mane. The dragon agreed. "Yes, if the darkness has already spread here so quickly, how much longer can this land fight to stay alive? Even worse, the other lands, how long before it reaches them?" Killen stepped forward. "I am afraid that it has reached within an arm's length of the Silver Knight's gate." The dragon, while stroking her beard, I see. The wise weevil said in a questionable manner, How can this be? How does she have such power? The wise unicorn replied with an answer that puzzled Lily and I. There must be a greater evil than her, for all evil has an unknown master to control it. Jenuca listened, then with a look like when a dog is ready to attack, replied, She has stolen the last 2 litters of pups from my pack. She wishes to now own the pendants of chaos and turmoil in return for one of all the pups she has stolen. Our pack has weakened and grown old, but I just cannot give her what stands between her and destroying the silver knight's gate. The wise weevil nodded his head. You must get the pack's life back by destroying the darkness and defeating Lady Lanu, or I shall be a permanent host to this cave. Lily frowned questioningly. I don't understand. To which the unicorn explained, You see, my cousin, in your journey here, have you seen a dragon or unicorn other than us? Lily shook her head no. The unicorn continued, That's because, cousins, we are what you humans call extinct. The weevil cleared his voice, or becoming so, unless something changes. It says in an old prophecy, A daughter of moon and a daughter of fire will rid us of the mother of all darkness. We think of them as you, Lily and Anna. Lily and I backed up and looked at one another, us, but we were just 2 girls. What could we do? As if knowing our thoughts, the unicorn spoke up. You have made it all this way, and with your friends you can defeat Lady Lanu. But how? The wise weevil asked in an angry voice. All this time the dragon was in deep thought and finally answered, It seems to me the curse on Tolo is great. With Lady Lanu not knowing she has in her hands the pendants of the Solos clan, we might be able to defeat Tolo's curse as well as the darkness. By using the pendants against one another, it will destroy them both. Tolo looked down at the blood pendant. With a deep breath he managed to say, With all the might in my heart and strength left in me,